All right, so let me start off this video with 5 conventional habits I did not ignore when I was younger. Work out 3 times a week, get 7 hours of sleep every night, use a calendar, read 4 books a year, and cut negative people out of my life. With that out of the way, let's talk about the 5 unexpected habits I regret not starting in my 20s. And I call these habits unexpected because, well, first, no one's ever told me about them, and second, even if someone had, I still probably wouldn't have listened simply because the benefits were not obvious and took years to materialize. Don't believe me? Let's get started. Habit number 1, wish people happy birthday. As I grow older, I just turned 30 this year, I meet more people but have less time to catch up with them. Wishing them a happy birthday is the best way to keep in touch because it requires very little effort but yields extremely high returns. Just think about the last time you were about to message someone with a question or even ask for a favor. You see a completely empty chat box and you think, never mind, it's been too long. It's too awkward if I reach out now. And you miss out on that job referral. If there's already a regular back and forth, even if that back and forth happens just once a year, it's so much easier to initiate that conversation and have the other person respond positively because you remember their birthday. Obviously, not everything in life is a quid pro quo. That's definitely not a good way to live. But sometimes it's nice to be able to hit someone up and ask for a favor without feeling awkward about it. For me, I literally exported my friends' birthdays from Facebook into Google Calendar using a Chrome extension called Birthday Calendar Exporter. I'm not affiliated with this extension in any way. It's the only method I found that works. So if you have a better way, let me know in the comments. All you have to do is to log into Facebook, start scanning for your friends' birthdays, ignore the error message that pops up, scroll down a little, go to Calendar Generator, generate and download the .ics file. Then in your Google Calendar, under Settings, import and export and import the .ics file. Pro tip, if you want to be able to toggle the birthdays on and off, create a separate calendar before you make the upload. Habit number 2, moisturize and apply sunscreen every single day. Now, I'm willing to bet money. Half of you have no idea what I'm talking about, and the other half is like, no shit, Sherlock. I'll be honest, I used to think skincare was a complete scam, an excuse for my mom to spend money on La Mer instead of La Sun. Get it? Because I'm her son and La Mer is a skincare brand. You see what I did there? Okay. My skincare routine up until 2 years ago was splashing water in my face and hoping for the best. You know, what a true alpha male would do. Yet somehow I would get breakouts every other week, and you can actually see this in my older YouTube videos. Now my skincare routine is, in the morning, water, pat dry with a face towel, moisturizer, wait for 2 minutes, apply sunscreen. At night before bed, a dedicated cleanser, rinse with water, pat dry with a face towel, apply moisturizer. You can obviously go a lot fancier, but I found this simple routine gives me 80% of the results. My skin feels great, I never get breakouts, and most importantly, I'm spending less than 10 minutes on this every day. If you want to learn more, Ali Abdaal actually has a really good video on evidence-based skincare. But if you can't bother, here's a TLDR. The top 3 brands he recommends is Uracin, CeraVe, and La Roche-Posay, which is what I use. Don't spend more than $30 on a moisturizer and buy any sunscreen you want. Just make sure it's broad spectrum and at least SPF 50. The only thing I would add to his video is you need to figure out what type of skin you have, like oily, dry combination, before buying the products. And you usually need to try a few different brands out before finding something that works for you. Habit number 3, close the loop. If you watch my resume videos, you might remember I sent a grand total of 347 cold emails when I was networking for my first job out of college. Around 20% of those people got back to me. I landed a few job offers and I thought that was that. Until 2 years later, when I was pivoting away from management consulting, I reached back out to some of the same people, and this time I was largely ignored. The reason? I did a terrible job following up and thanking those 70 or so working professionals who took time out of their busy days to respond to my email. Looking back, I'm still pretty ashamed of this. That experience, along with me going through the exact same thing where I invested time to help someone and never heard back, made me realize networking should never be a one-off exchange because the world's a small place and someone who has helped you out once will very likely be in a position to help you again further down the line. Now, my rule of thumb is no matter the size of the request, whether you're asking someone for a job or a colleague for a quick coffee chat, if you initiate the ask, The first thing you should do after a day or a week is to circle back and close the loop. I literally have this as the default action item in my meeting notes template. Habit number 4, read less, review more. Long story short, I've read a lot of nonfiction books over the years, but like most people, I don't remember much of what I've read. And it's not like I don't highlight, I do, right? It's just that I can't be bothered to go back to review my notes because the friction is too high. After trying out a bunch of workflows over the last 2 years, Readwise is the only one that's stuck. They're basically an app, I'll link them down below, that sends me 5 highlights every morning, and it takes like 3 minutes to go through all of them. Let me be clear, this is not the best way to retain learnings from books. But just like how the best productivity system is the one that you can consistently stick to, Readwise has lowered the friction for me by so much that I've consistently reviewed highlights for the past year, and I've found myself applying some of these resurfaced concepts in my daily life. By the way, this video, like most of my videos, is not sponsored, but it is supported by those of you who subscribe to my paid newsletter. So check that out if you want a weekly dose of productivity and career tips. The bottom line here is that I wish more people told me it's okay to read fewer books as long as you have a system in place to review key concepts from those books. Because as Alex Hormozy so nicely puts it,
if your behavior doesn't change as a result of reading a book, then it means you've learned nothing, which means it was a waste of time.
Number 5, be a guide, not a guru. This concept should be very familiar to Ali Abdaal fans, and basically it's a very effective way to tackle imposter syndrome.
A guru is someone who comes down from the top of the mountain and says, look at me, I'm the expert, I have all the answers. Whereas a guide is someone who is on the same journey as you, and a guide says, hey, I don't have the answers, but we're on the same path. Why don't we kind of approach it together and I'll show you what I've discovered so far.
If you're a junior in college, you'll learn much more from a senior than someone who graduated 4 years ago. If you're a working professional, you'll benefit more from chatting with a mentor one level above you than a senior director. It wasn't until I had this shift in mindset that I got the confidence to host training sessions for new hires at work, even when I was also relatively junior. The positive feedback I received inspired me to start my YouTube channel, so this arguably changed my life. In practice, I developed a habit of documenting new things I came across at work, stuff I had to learn anyways for my job, for example, budget forecasting and project management. Once I was comfortable with the topic, I would find opportunities to share what I've learned with others. If I could go back in time, I would start documenting in college as if I had a sibling a year or 2 below me. I'd tell them which classes were good, which professors sucked, how I landed my first internship, my first full-time job. As a bonus for everyone who stuck around, here's the habit I'm most proud of myself for starting in my 20s and continuing to this day, and that is re-racking weights at the gym. When you go for a workout, there's no gym police, but we all know the right thing to do. Put the weights back where you found them. It seems insignificant, but re-racking the weights has become a reminder for me to do the right thing even when no one's watching. All right, if you're past your 20s and got advice, leave them down in the comments. If you are in your 20s, let me know if this was helpful. See you on the next video. In the meantime, have a great one.